Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday Sweat Club. We have a nice full house today, and I have some fun ideas as well. Before we get started, I have to make one more pitch for my North Carolina yoga and art retreat. This is the last 48 hours to register, and then I close registration. So if you've been thinking of coming and joining me in North Carolina for yoga and art, please register soon. And if not, we have many more retreats coming up on the horizon, and that might suit you. With that in mind, let's get rocking. Come to a seat today. We will begin in a seated meditation. So remember, when I say seated meditation, it can be any seat. You could grab a chair, take a seat on a chair. You could sit on the ground, Sukhasana, legs crossed. That feels okay for me today, but if that doesn't work for you, you could also sit legs here, just something that you feel like you can elongate your spine in rather than rounding over. Then bring your hands to your knees. Close your eyes. Gently tuck your chin, so feel the back of your neck get long. And then let your shoulders relax down to the ground. Let's start class by observing our thoughts. So a little opposite of what we try to do in meditation where we release them. But over the next minute, just notice how quickly your thoughts pass. Maybe you follow them. And see if they have a certain mood or a certain energy tied to them. Now that you've had a little time with your thoughts, reflect on what happened, where they took you. And then inhale deeply. Feel your diaphragm extend down into your belly. Exhale, empty the lungs. Bringing our focus and awareness now just to the breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale, empty the lungs. Because we're in a seated meditation, you might find this a little hard. Continue the breath to extend the diaphragm down while the core is pulled in. So essentially, you'll push the diaphragm down while still lengthening through the spine. Take 3 more of your biggest breaths of the day. Inhale. Exhale. On your next breath in, lift your hands up. This is going to be a little challenging on video, but I believe we can do it. Bring your hands to cover your eyes and your thumbs will hover over your ears. We're moving to my favorite pranayama, which is bumblebee breath. So essentially what you will do, and you can listen to me demo, is you'll take a big breath in, plug your ears, and then you'll hum. For your entire exhale. Because I can't tap you out and you won't be able to hear me, you won't know when you can come out. So I would like you to take 5. I'm going to do 5 as well. 5 exhales with bumblebee breath. And then after your 5th one, just bring your hands onto your knees and observe. I am going to hum nice and loud, so it'll come with your humming. So you can always peek and see if I'm still humming if you're nervous, but take 5. There's no rush. I will wait for everybody to be done. When you're done, just put your hands on your knees. Here we go. Hands come up to the eyes. Bring your thumbs over your ears. Plug your ears. Take a breath in and hum. Mm. 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 If your hands are on your knees, sit in silent observation. Just of the sensations in your body. Maybe notice increase in saliva in the mouth. I like to think that bumblebee breath can clear our thoughts. It vibrates them straight out of our head. So we will begin our class with an empty mind, an open plate. Breath in and out. Again, inhale. Maybe you start your ujjayi breath. Exhale. Inhale once more. And then exhale, zip your feet together if they are extended out in front of you. If your legs are crossed, lean back and then place your feet forward. So we all meet with our feet out, toes curled back. Push your heels down into the mat. My new favorite activity, inhale, lift your hands high. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center, clasp your fists around one another. So you're squeezing the hands together, bring them to the heart. And then we're coming to a tabletop pose. So option 1 is just to move to tabletop. Option 2 is to find a way to get to tabletop without your hands. So my favorite is to lean back, kick one foot around, kick the other foot around, lean to my knees, and then come to my hands. I'll do that one more time if that was too fast. Now, there's a lot of different options. You can kick, push up, lift, or you could get weird and you could be like, I'm gonna go like this and I'm gonna go here and then I'm gonna comb around here. There's so many different ways, so you can pick your way and then we will all meet, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. If you have any pressure on the wrist, if this feels like a lot, you can rock your wrist forward slightly, make the angle a little less than. So your wrists, they're not super warmed up yet, and tabletop can be pretty intense. Once your palms are on the mat, press all 10 fingers into the mat. The palms are firm, knuckles even press. Now pull your belly in slightly. Take any bend out of the spine, long, even, neutral spine. Inhale here. Exhale, tuck your chin round into cat pose. Look at your belly button. Stay and breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, drop your belly, roll your shoulders back, squeeze your scapula together. Think about pulling your heart through your biceps as you gaze high or maybe at the third eye. Exhale, you'll stay. Try to pull the core in, even in the back bend. Exhale. Inhale. And then exhale, maybe you shut your eyes and move through some cat and cow. Option to take these as a spinal wave. So with every inhale, the belly will drop, shoulders will roll back. Maybe you start the movement at the pelvis. Every exhale will tuck and round into cat pose. Stay with your breath. Take one more cat, one more cow, and then come back to center, even spine once more. So slight pull the belly in. Walk your knees together. So bring the knees close together. For me, this feels more stable. Remember, if for you it doesn't, you can switch and bring the knees wide. Take a breath in and lift your left foot up and back. Toes come to the ground. So first, just start with a little pulse into the leg, finding balance. Maybe wiggle back and forward. Enjoy this experience in the calf. And then the next breath in, you can lift the leg up, hold here. Option to keep the toe on the ground. But once you lift the leg, the belly's going to drop. Notice I'm in a back bend. I'm going to take the bend out of the spine, pulling the core up and in as I lift the leg. Breath in. Try to round a little bit in the upper spine. Breath out. Cat pose in that thoracic spine. Inhale. Exhale. Once more. Inhale here. And then exhale, you'll take your left knee over towards your left tricep. So try to touch the knee to the tricep and hold, squeeze, lift the foot towards the butt. 3, 2, keep lifting. 1, and then step the foot to the outside of the hand. Wiggle your right knee back. So we're in a nice little lizard lunge. Now today, I'm going to surprise you a little bit because while our hip flexor on that right side it's going to be stretching, that's not what we're working on. Instead, we'll be focusing on the ankle. I need to work on my ankle mobility, so you're all going to sit here and do it with me because guess what? You probably do too. Start to push your knee past your ankle. So you might need to wiggle the back knee forward. If you look at me, I'm kind of walking my hands forward, seeing how far I can get the knee past the ankle before I get a big stretch in the back of the leg. So once you can get that stretch, try to pull the hips down, chest forward. Think about pushing the knee forward, encouraging the stretch. You can do this as deeply or as, I guess I should say, gently as you like, depending on how your ankle feels. And then once you're here, start to press your toe down into the ground, like you're pressing on a gas pedal. It'll be pretty gentle since you're deep in the stretch, but start to push, push, push the toe down. Push a little more as the knee comes forward. Keep pushing down, encouraging the stretch. Take a breath in. And then lift your toes up off the mat. Try to bring the top of your foot towards your shin. Almost trying to close this little angle here, right? Like closing this lift, lift, lift. 3, 2, 1. Push the toe down into the mat, gas pedal. Maybe you're a really fast driver, so you're used to this. Push harder. 3, 2, 1. Now we'll do the opposite. Inhale, lift the toe, curl the top of the foot back towards the shin and hold. 3, 2, higher. 1. Release. Foot comes down. Breath in. As you exhale, bring the hips back. Maybe you can connect the knee to the tricep first, round through the spine, try to lift the foot, coming out the same way we came in, and then come back to tabletop pose, walk your knees together. Reminder, if your wrists are feeling tired, take them a little bit further forward, make the angle less. It'll be more work on the chest, but less on the wrists. Shift your weight over into your left leg. Inhale your right leg back, toe comes to the ground, and let's take a nice big stretch side to side, really push into that heel. Exhale. Next breath in, you'll lift the leg up and then exhale, hold, lift. Think about pulling the core in. I'm going to go from this side so you can see my pants are a little dark. Pull the core in. So instead of dropping the belly, we squeeze, round a little bit through the upper spine and hold. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Once more. Inhale here. And then exhale, take your right knee towards your right tricep. Squeeze, try to lift the foot up towards the butt. How high can you get the foot? Closing, squeezing. 3, 2, And one, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Now we'll push that left hip back. So sink down into the left hip, big stretch. But instead of focusing on this left hip, we're wiggling forward to try to push the right knee past the right ankle. So for me, I'm gonna have to go really far. This is my good ankle. So I'm really gonna have to lean into it to find that stretch. Then once you're there, maybe hands come forward, pull yourself down and in. Breathe into the back of the ankle. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Once more, breath in. Now exhale, start to push your toes down into the mat like it's on a gas pedal. And even if you're here, if you have limitation in the ankle, same thing. You're pushing the foot down into the mat, squeezing, turning the gas pedal. A little more, little more. 3, 2, 1. Now you try to do the opposite and imagine lifting the toe up towards the shin or the foot up to the shin, closing the angle, almost deepening yourself into the stretch, right? As you do that, you can lean forward. 3, 2, 1. Push the foot down into the mat, push firm, hard. Maybe you're making a face at this point because your toes are just like in the ground. Breath in. Now do the opposite. Lift the toes up towards the shin. Make that angle in the front of your ankle even less. 3, deepen the stretch. 2, and 1. Release. Toes come down to the ground. All right. Now connect your knee to your tricep. Take a breath in. Shift your butt back. Maybe you can lift the foot first and come back to tabletop pose, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. On your inhale, drop your belly, roll your shoulders back, look high. Exhale, round to cat tuck. Inhale, back to center. Walk your hands a handprint forward. So if you look in downward facing dog, the angle we want in the arms is essentially like this. There's not a huge bend in the wrist. So if you find you're here in down dog, we want to reach through here. Connect your fingers to the mat. All 10 fingers push into the mat, knuckles push, curl your toes under, then lift up and back, downward facing dog, but maintain the connection of the hands into the mat as you rotate the triceps down and in. Breath in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Once more, breath in and out. Inhale, look forward, bend in your knees. Walk yourself either legs straight or maybe legs very bent, one toe print at a time to the top of the mat. Take your time getting there. It's going to feel weird and awkward, and that means you're doing it right. Feet together, fold into Uttanasana, head is heavy. Inhale, halfway lift. 2 fingers to the mat, 2 hands to the shins, or maybe even 2 to the thigh. All I care about is scapula squeezing. Exhale, fold. Again, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Once more, inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale, sit your butt back. So sit the butt back as far as you can get until the thighs are almost parallel with the ground. Sweep the arms out to the side and then push yourself through a chair pose up into standing. Look high at your thumbs. Exhale, hands to heart center, Tadasana. Stand at the top of your mat, breath in and out. Inhale, sweep your hands high, look up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take a big bend in your knees, really big. Plant your hands firm on the ground. Shift your weight into your left foot. Step your right foot back into a low lunge. Now, in this pose, we have a few different options. Left ankle, start to try to lean the knee past the ankle. Get light in the back heel. So it's just the toe is lifting, right? And then as you exhale, sink back into your crescent. We'll try that again. Low crescent, I should say. Inhale, hands forward. Weight comes into this front quad. Get light in the right toe or the right foot. Exhale back, sinking low. Once more. Inhale forward. That left leg should probably be feeling a little bit tired maybe. Exhale, sinking back. And then inhale, come up, crescent pose. Option to have the back knee down here, so you could have your back knee on the mat and be settled. Otherwise, try to come up and then reach your hands high, push the chest forward. Think about sweeping the right hip flexor forward, left hip back as you come down. Option to have the back leg bent. For me, I like to try to straighten the back leg because it encourages my quad to turn on in this position. Then sink low. Inhale. I know that front leg's tired. You can do it. Exhale. Breath in. Breath out. Once more, inhale. Exhale, sweep the hands down, look forward. Now, just like you did before, lean into your front quad, get light in the back foot, bend in the knee, and step up and into Uttanasana at the top of the mat. Head is heavy as you fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit your butt back. Thighs parallel with the ground. Sweep the arms wide. Come all the way through to standing as you look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands by your sides, Tadasana. Haven't done this one in a while and I missed it a little bit. So bring your hands to your hips. Find your hip bones. Make sure they stay pointing forward. Walk your feet together so the toes touch. Shift your weight over into your right leg. Left leg will come back. Then, once you're there, point the toe. So if you look at me, I got my little toe just touching the ground light. You could stay here, or without lifting the hip, keep the hip low. Without lifting, lift the toe up off the ground. So you might barely be able to lift with the hips even. Hold the hips where they are, point. You should feel your butt cheek is like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Pull your belly in slightly to engage through the core. Lift up through the spine and keep holding. 3, 2. Don't let that hip hike up. I even started to cheat. Bring it down. 1. And release. Feet together. Shift your weight over. Opposite side. Left leg strong. Right leg. Right toe touches first. So option to stay here. Just finding the balance. Remember, plant your hand on that right hip. Not going to move. Keep it where it is. Then lift the right foot up. And for me, the lift can't go very high if the hip is down, right? So we try to lift and extend. Point the toe. Squeeze. How high can you lift? Your butt cheeks should immediately start to shiver and shake. 3. Lift a little higher, then encourage hip down, 2, and 1. Release. Feet together, hands by your sides. Tadasana. Inhale, sweep your hands high, look up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, big bend in your knees. Plant your hands, shift your weight into your left foot, step your right foot back. And then come to this low lunge. So you could be doing this with the back knee down too, leaning forward, leaning back. If you can, back knee is up. And then lean forward, inhale, start to get light in that back toe. The heel lifts up. Push your knee past your ankle. Exhale, sink back. Inhale, lean forward. Push your knee past your ankle. How far can you get keeping the right toe on the ground? Exhale, sink back. Once more. Inhale, lean forward. Lean, lean, lean. How light can you get? Really engage in the left quad, that big muscle in the top of your thigh, and then exhale, sink back. Inhale up, crescent pose. Now that that leg's already tired, pull the left hip back in space, right hip forward. Breath in and out. Hands high, arms are straight. Inhale. Exhale. Once more. Breath in. And then exhale, sweep your hands down, frame your foot. Look forward, lean into that front leg, just like we did before. Get light in the right toe, bend in the back knee and step forward. Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit your butt back, take your arms wide, push yourself all the way up to standing. Look high. Exhale, hands to heart center, and then by your side, Tadasana. Close your eyes. Take 3 slow breaths. Blink your eyes open. Inhale, sweep your hands up, look up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take a big bend in your knees, plant your hands and step back to plank pose. Option to have the knees down. We're going to lower down to our belly, nice and easy. So if the knees are up, you'll just hug the elbows in close to the sides. 3, 2, 1, chest to the ground. Inhale up, baby cobra. So lift the chest. This is the thing. It might look like I have weight in my hands, but no hands. So lift your hands up. Then inhale, try to lift a little higher. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hold. Once more. Inhale, lift up and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Push the tops of your feet into the mat. Exhale, lower down. Curl your toes under. Maybe lift the knees first. Pull your core up and in and push up to either plank or tabletop pose. You lift up and back, downward facing dog. Breath in and out. Inhale, look forward. Bend in your knees, either legs straight or bent. You will walk yourself one toe print at a time, mindfully to the top of the mat, and then fold into Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, butt back. Take your arms wide. Push yourself all the way up to standing. Look high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands by your sides, Tadasana. Breath in and out. Next, inhale, sit your butt back, chair pose. First chair of class. So chair, we've had a little bit of discussion about chair lately in a few of my classes with a few different students. Chair should be a neutral spine. So you're not tucking, you're not pushing your booty out and showing everyone how cute your butt is, even though it is very cute. I can verify that. You're going to pull and just be neutral. So wiggle your hips side to side, let yourself go, find your chair, and then all you do, lift those hips or the hands high. If you have limitations in your ankle, remember you'll sit your butt back to get lower in your chair, trying to get the thighs closer down towards the ground. If you don't have ankle limitations, lean forward slightly and see how low you can get. So this is not a standard chair today. I just want you to observe. Notice how I'm pushing my knee past my ankle. Where does your ankle stop you from getting lower and lower? And you might be down here with me. You probably will be like, Madison, what the hell are you doing? Don't worry, you're just holding chair wherever you are. Whatever you're doing, find your chair. And then we'll all come up to standing. 3, 2, 1. Hands by your sides. Tadasana. Breath in and out. Inhale, sweep your hands high. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to downward facing dog. Reminder, you can do all of this in tabletop. So everything I'm cueing now, you could be doing from here in tabletop pose. We will inhale, lift our right leg high. Today, dorsiflex your foot. What does that mean? Remember what we did on the ground where I told you to pull your toes towards your shin? Make that happen in your lifted foot. Pull your toes towards your shin. Great. And then pro tip, now check in on your left foot. Can you try to pull your toes towards your shin in down dog? And maybe you'll sink the heel a little deeper on the left leg. Hold, lift the right foot higher. 3, keep dorsiflexing. 2, that reminds me of a shark fin. 1, breath in. Exhale, knee to nose. Tuck in, lean forward, lean, lean, lean. Step through, low lunge. Push your left foot backwards. We're coming towards a crescent pose. Lean forwards first. Find weight in that right quad. Get light in the back toe. Exhale, sink yourself back. Standard low lunge. Inhale forward, knee passes the ankle. Exhale back, low lunge. One more time. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And then inhale, hands up, crescent pose. Oh yeah, pull the right hip back in space. Sink down. We're only here for a second. Inhale. Exhale, widen, warrior two. Our first time widening. We've been working in one plane, right? Forward and back. We did a little bit with pointing the legs out, but this is really the first time we sink down and think external rotation in the thighs, right? Look down at your right leg. Make sure your right knee isn't falling in. Push the right knee out to the side as you sink down. Reach the arms long. Gaze off your front hand. Breath in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Now, think about pulling your right toe towards your right shin. See if you get deeper in the pose. 3, 2, and then 1. Oh, inhale, straighten that leg. I was shaking like crazy. Turn your toes in, your heels out. Hands come to the hips. So toes in, heels out, moving toward a wide-legged forward fold with a little bit of a twist today. So inhale, roll your shoulders back, gaze high. Exhale, push your butt back and fold down with a flat back. So see how long you can fold with your back flat, and then eventually you can release down to the ground. Now, once you're here, guess what I'm going to ask you to do? Pull your toes toward your shin. It's going to rock your weight forward. Reminder, if you're going to fall, please let go of your hips and put your hands on the ground so you don't eat it. But notice that as you start to lift, trying to pull that lift up, we deepen the posture. Breath in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Next, inhale, pull the toes toward the shin, lift yourself up halfway, flat back. Exhale, stay. Inhale, lift all the way up to center. And then exhale, turn your right toe forward, coming to Trikonasana. So you might need to change the stance a little. For me, my stance is perfect here as I bump the left hip backwards. Reach your right hand forwards. Reach, 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 coming to triangle pose. The back of your hand to the inside of the leg. So you might be here, here, here. You can kind of just tick-tock your way down the leg, right? Roll your left shoulder back, left hand high. If it feels okay, you can take your left hand and actually bring it around your torso on your belly and think about rotating the torso open a little bit. And then you'll get closer into this posture. We find that rotation up and to the left. Then you can extend the arm one more time. Breath in and out. Try pushing your feet away from each other. Inhale. Exhale. All right, next inhale, bend in the front knee, lift yourself up. Warrior two, nice and strong. Exhale, sweep your hands down. Frame your foot. There's two options. Option one, you could push up and back to down dog. Option two, I like to try to push and round. Watch my hips lift. I'm gonna try to lift the hips, squeeze through the hands. Maybe I can lift the foot first. If you have long legs, it's impossible, don't worry. And then step back, downward facing dog. Just always being aware of how we transition, right? How we move from posture to posture. Just as important as the postures themselves. Inhale your left leg up. And now think about dorsiflexion. So you're squeezing the top of your foot towards your shin. Push your leg long, but keep squeezing. Then check if your hip is open. Remember, we close the hip down to the ground. Dorsiflex through the right foot now. Pull your right top of your foot towards your right shin, extending and lengthening. Inhale, lift your left foot. Exhale. One more breath in. Exhale, take your knee to your nose, lean forward, step through, low lunge. You've been here before. Option one, you might hang out here. You could find the hip stretch if the ankle work isn't going well for you and you just want to skip that and you'd like to work on the hip flexors. Otherwise, come with me. Inhale, lean forward, weight in the front leg. Exhale back, low lunge. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale back, low lunge. One more time. Inhale, lean. Exhale back. And then inhale up, crescent pose. Pull that left hip backwards, right hip sinks down. Reach the hands high. Breath in. And out. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale. And then as you exhale, widen warrior two, sink down into the front knee. So look down, same as last time. Maybe we start with the hands on the hips. The thighs are externally rotating, which means they're both not rolling in, right? They're rolling out. You're opening through the pelvis. And while you do that, essentially what will happen is the pelvis will want to tuck a little bit. That's completely fine. Then look at your left knee. Push the left knee out as you sink down and in. Okay, then the hands go long. I'm already shaking, so we're in this together, team. The last bit, as we breathe, is think about pulling the top of your left foot towards your shin, and you'll get even lower. Oh my God. I am gonna just tell you to breathe for 3 breaths while I hold this with you, because it's hard to talk. Here we go, pull in. 3, 2, and 1. Oh, inhale, straighten the leg. Ah, the leg is shaking so much. Exhale, hands to your hips. Narrow your stance a little. We're doing round 2 of our forward fold. So this time, instead of turning the toes in, keep them at neutral. So toes look down. Make sure your toes are in line with your ankles. Feet just point forward. Inhale, baby back bend. Roll the shoulders back. Extend through the spine. Exhale, start to bring the chest forward and fold. This time you have the option to bring the hands down to the ground, maybe grab for your ankles or walk your hands back between your legs and you can pull yourself down and in with the palms on the ground. No matter what you choose. At this point, you shouldn't be surprised when I ask you to try to pull the top of your feet towards your shins. And notice what that does. It rocks our weight into the toes, but also forces the front of the shin to engage as much as the back of the leg. Breath in and out. Relax the head. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe you can get a little deeper. Pull and lift more. One more. Breath in. Exhale, release. Hands can come back to the hips. And then inhale, micro bend in the knees, lift up halfway. Exhale, stay. Inhale, lift up all the way. Exhale, turn your left toe forward. Then you might need to widen the stance a little. For me, I just need a little bit of widening. Coming to Trikonasana, so bump your right hip back. Think I'm on the right leg. If I'm not, correct me, but I'm pretty sure you are. Tick-tock forward, reach, 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 and then bring the hand to the inside of the leg. Once you're there, take your right hand. And the idea is really, if you notice, like I can demo 2 different things. The shoulders dropping down. I want to open through the chest. So this is the concept of you. Take your right hand, roll your rib cage up and around. We're rolling the chest up. And as we do this, the left side of our body will lengthen too. Then inhale the right hand high. Breath in and out. Try pushing your feet away from each other. Inhale. Exhale. Once more, breath in and out. Okay, inhale, bend into the front knee, lift up, warrior 2. Hands are long, strong, yeah. Exhale, sweep the hands down, frame the foot. Maybe just go to down dog, or you can try to push up, lift the butt up, sweep and lift through the foot, push up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank pose or tabletop. Knees could be down. I'll do the knees down version. And then we'll lower to our bellies, nice and easy. 3, easy as I say that, I know what I mean. 2, 1, easy is just encouragement, right? Inhale, lift up. Baby cobra or a back bend of your choice. Maybe you wanna lift a little bit higher and just feel the spine engaged, completely up to you. Exhale, lower down. Walk your hands by your sides. Curl your toes under. Option 1, push up to tabletop. Option 2, push up and back to downward facing dog. And you can do up to the knees first and then up. Find the hips high. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, tiptoe, walk. Now, as you're walking, think about flexing your toes towards your shin. Walk yourself up to the top of the mat and fold into Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now that you're folded, let's take ragdoll pose. Grab for opposite elbows, let your head hang heavy. I'm not going to entirely because I have a mic and I don't want to be yelling at you, so do as I say, not as I do. And then just sway side to side. Come back to center. Your feet can be as narrow or as wide as you want right now. In this fold, try to draw your toes up towards your shins. Feels weird, gonna throw you off balance a little bit. That's okay. 3, 2, and 1. Release the hands down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sit your butt back as you inhale. Sweep the arms wide out to the sides. Lift yourself through a chair pose. Come all the way to standing, hands high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands by your side, Tadasana. Close your eyes. Sit in silence for about the next 30 seconds. And if any thoughts come up, just try to let them pass by. Don't follow them. Focus on the breath, the rhythm of your heart. Inhale. Exhale. All right, blink your eyes open. We are going to work on our peak transition today. I didn't really pick a pose. It's more of playing with a transition. So I'm going to give a few different options on what you'll be working today. The idea is moving in and out of crescent pose, which is here, to our warrior 3, which I'm not going to show you the transition yet, but is here, right? This is commonly cued in my class a lot of times, in other classes maybe as well, but I want to show you some different options about how to get there and how our ankle dorsiflexion, right, can help us find the engagement we need in the posture. So option 1, and let's all try this together. We can start here and then we'll build into where we're going next. So bring your hands to your hips. Find your hands on your hips and then step your right foot back just about this far. I don't know how far this is, this wide. Just a baby step, bend into the front knee. Notice my knee will track past my ankle a little bit. If you can't do that, you might want to take it slightly wider. So this is kind of crescent pose, but essentially all the weight is still in your left leg, right? Barely touching, right toe is on the ground. Now, try to pull your right or your left foot, the top of your left foot towards your shin. Notice as you pull, it makes those muscles on the front of the shin engage and we lean forward a little bit, right? So you're just going to pull in with the dorsiflexion, then lift the right foot up and maybe hover briefly in a warrior 3. Try coming in and out a few times just with this little stance. Think about pulling the shin. This is so much more about engagement rather than nailing a warrior 3 pose. I want you to feel it in the left leg as you lift up. Maybe eventually that chest will come parallel to the ground. But then if you get there, I want you to step back into the pose. All right, if your leg's as tired as mine, we'll step the feet together, shake it out. Let's try that on the other side. Refocus, finding our single pointed intention, which literally is to engage the muscles in the front of the shin to move us into the transition. So shift your weight into your right leg, left leg comes back about yay, not too far. Then start to bend into that right knee. Weight is almost all entirely in this right leg. The left leg is really just a kickstand. Now that you're here, start trying to pull the top of the foot towards the shin, dorsiflexion, pulling in. And as you do that, you might start to lean a little further. So pull as you lift, pull, and then maybe you can work towards warrior 3. Unlike me, I'm opening the hip, try to drop your left hip down, and then come back to the pose one more time. We're going to do it again. Light weight in the toe. Remember, you don't have to go far. You're just playing with the balance on that leg. Start to lean forward, bend your ankle or your knee past your ankle on the right side. Then start to think about flexing the top of the foot towards the shin as you lift up, deepen, and eventually straighten the leg. Pull the left hip down, breath in. Everyone back to standing. Feet together, hands by your side, Tadasana. Okay, so The other option, that's option one. We're going to do this one more time. So you could play with that movement and maybe you just change your foot position. So this is why it's so much all in your body. You're asking yourself, how does this feel good for me? You might take it a little wider. Option two, if you would like to try something a little bit more challenging, you're going to come down to essentially your low lunge. Now, this is really hard, right? You start to wiggle and lift forward, just like we did before. Think about the dorsiflexion of the ankle, leaning the right ankle forward. Instead of launching into warrior three, you're going to have to flex the shin in the front, lean, and then push essentially what is a one-legged squat almost to get into this position. So you could try each one, leaning forward, flexing, push. So everybody try on the right leg, whatever version they like. Reminder that you could do somewhere in the middle. You could be here. Can come from crescent. Lean forward, lift here. Lots of different steps. Try one more time on the right leg. Your level. This is kind of the beauty of it, right? It goes all the way from here to here to here. We can build based on what we're feeling today. Once you've done that one more time on the right leg, feet together, hands by your sides, Tadasana. Let's take the left when you feel prepared. Left leg, same thing. Maybe explore, okay, I could get a little bit further back. A little more weight in the back leg. Maybe come all the way to crescent and go from here, hands to the hips, launch, lift. If you can, I would say the most challenging mode is coming from here, low lunge, leaning forward, squeezing and lifting into what is essentially a one-legged squat into your pose. And then, as per usual, lowering back down with control. Try one more time on the left side. Oh, yeah, that's hard. And then when you're ready, you'll step your feet back together. Hands by your sides, Tadasana, close your eyes. Fantastic work. Breath in. And out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, sweep your hands high, look up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. We're going to do one more thing. Exhale, bend in your knees, big bend, step your right foot back. Now, all we'll do is you'll lean forward, look forward. This is where this applies again. Step your right foot forward. You bend in the back knee, step, lean, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend in the knees, step your left foot back, controlled, get low. Look forward, lean the right knee past the ankle, and power up in the right leg, bend in the left knee, step, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Lower your knees down. Walk your hands back towards your body, an option to have the butt on the heels or come to here. Bring your hands into your chest. Guess what we're going to do? You probably forgot that we did it in the beginning. You're going to come to a seat and try and do it without using your hands. If you need to use your hands, use your hands. But if you can, my favorite way would be to sit the butt back and push it to one side. So I'm going to push my butt to the right, feet to the left, and then sit down. No hands. Come to a seat. There are 9 million different ways to do it. As always, we'll do this week after week. So maybe as we start to get a little more familiar with it, you can keep trying different ways in order to find what works for you. Extend your legs nice and long. Inhale your hands forward. Pull your belly in. We'll Pilates roll down to the ground. Yeah, I'm not even going to keep you up here. You've done enough work. Pull, tuck the pelvis as you reach, reach, toes long. Take your time or just flop onto your back. I don't even care. Then once you're there, hands can come above the head. Take a nice morning stretch. Reach them up and then stretch left and right. We'll move towards an easy twist. Palms come down to the ground. Draw either one knee or both knees into the chest. So you could do a two-legged twist or a one-legged. I'm going to take one. I'll draw my right knee in. And then let's take the knee over to the opposite side. Twist, nice and easy, hands, palms up. This is a case where when I say nice and easy, I kind of mean it. Allow yourself to be heavy. Focus more on keeping the right, or actually I should say, focus more on keeping both shoulders onto the ground as you gaze to the opposite side. Breath in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, roll through center. Bring the knee towards the chest. And then as you exhale, you can swap it out if you have one knee. If you have both knees, just even the hips, right? Find evenness in the hips and then twist over to the opposite side. So just moving over. Reminder that the goal is to have both shoulders down towards the mat, not the knee or knees plural to the ground. Let the twist come from the spine. Eyes shut. Slow the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. Once more, breath in. And then exhale back to center, maybe one knee or both knees. Then wiggle yourself to the middle of the mat. Bring your knees hip width distance apart, feet on the ground, moving to a baby bridge pose. So we haven't done a ton of back bending this class. Option to just inhale, lift the hips slightly and pull the heels towards the butt and just start to lengthen the hip flexors up to the sky. Or if you'd like, you can start to shimmy your shoulder blades together, clasp your hands, lift up into a back bend. But remember, listen to your body. What is your body calling for? If it doesn't need a big back bend, don't do it. Just find the lift, the engagement, the gentle squeeze. If you're craving a back bend, how can you bend in a way that moves from the entire spine, not just your lumbar? Breath in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Once more. Inhale. Exhale, lower the hips down. Take the bend out of the spine, draw the knees up and in towards the chest. Now, briefly, instead of squeezing them, let's take the knees in to about 90 degrees, knees over hips, and then dorsiflex your ankles in line with the knees. Push the hands into the knees into the hands, lift your shoulders up off your mat, push your low back down into the mat. Just a brief core engagement. Push your hands into your thighs. 3, 2, and then 1, let your knees follow your hands as you draw them back towards your chest and move into a happy baby. Release the head to the mat. Take the feet to the sky. Option to move or option to stay still. I kind of like to straighten one leg and then straighten the other, play left and right. Breath in. And exhale, release the feet. We have about another minute, not a ton of time today, but if there's anything else you would like to do in your practice to finish, to finalize, to make your body feel complete, you can take any of those movements. And that might not be a yoga pose, right? It could literally just be free movement that feels good. About another 15 seconds or so, and then you can make your way towards Shavasana. Once you're there, you'll take your feet wide, let your toes fall out to the side so you relax the legs. Palms face up by your sides. I have a friend who likes to do her Shavasana with her hands over her head and her arms latched. So honestly, if that feels better, you can take your arms in any space, maybe even one to the chest or one to the belly if that feels nurturing. All the poses we just did were in preparation for this. We used bumblebee breath to empty our minds at the beginning of class. We worked on our breath, our physical body, our connection to our mind and body, shifted our energy, and now is the time for meditation. So, over the next few minutes in Shavasana, if you find any thoughts come up, just imagine them drifting down a river in the shape of a leaf, going away from you. And then come back into the still place that is your mind. Deep breath in. Open mouth exhale. Shavasana. If you would like to stay in Shavasana, if you are meditating wonderfully, please just turn me off and stay for a little bit longer. But if you're ready to move out of your practice and into the rest of your day, you can begin by reawakening your body with subtle movements. And then gradually allow them to get larger. Maybe reach your hands over your head, point your toes. Option to rock the head side to side, open the mouth, wiggle the jaw, wrinkle the nose. Then when you're ready, you can draw one knee towards the chest and then the other. And roll over onto your favorite side in fetal pose, using your arm as a pillow. A brief transition from our meditation back into life. Press yourself up to a comfortable seat, facing the sound of my voice. A reminder that could be any seat that you choose, something that just feels good in the body, feels good for you. Inhale. Exhale, bring your hands together either at heart center or two hands over the heart, whatever feels more authentic. Inhale, lengthen your spine up to the ceiling. And exhale, gently bow your chin in gratitude. Firstly, for yourself for showing up on a Sunday to practice yoga. Also for the practice. And gratitude for everyone in your life that cares for you, that loves you, that is part of your community. Breath in and out. Inhale, lift your head back up. Open your eyes, get reacquainted with the space around you. Thank you all. Fantastic work today. As always, if you have any questions, I'm here. I'll hang out for a little bit after class. You can also always send me an email, and I look forward to seeing you next week for the Sunday Sweat Club. Talk soon.